It's the Riot Podcast, Wednesday, May 17th. Welcome.
We talked about today things that women can do that men just cannot. One of them being having multiple partners.
I don't know if you're explaining it quite the appropriate way, but we talk about, rosters?
Building a dating roster.
Building a dating
Having
roster.
your own fantasy team of dates.
And they say for women, that's fine, but you are very appropriate to point out that men should never.
Yeah, they say, we say it. We say it. This is our advice to you as men, that you should not have a dating roster.
See, after we talked about it, though, I read more into the article, and I feel like roster is like a really strong word for it because it makes it sound like you're having 10 or 12, like a team of people that you're also dating. But if you take a more balanced approach, it was just saying if you're dating someone and it's like your second date in, feel free to still be looking and going on one or two other dates if you have others that you're trying to figure out who is actually the right match for you.
Would you prefer dating depth chart then?
Right now you're the starter. But this one here, he's been going hard at practice. Like he could clearly overtake and become the starter.
He's putting in a lot of effort.
Yes. It had an interesting take on it because it was more about like sometimes as women we can feel like, especially if you haven't had a boyfriend for a while or if everybody has one around you, that you will take whatever you can get. And so it's just trying to stop you from settling if the person is obviously not right. And then you go to who else is on the bench.
Yeah, which is the opposite advice for guys. Settle for whoever you can get.
And be thankful.
I was going to say get your hands on. Nope.
Easy.
Whoever falls for it, take it.
It's like whoever you can get in your clutches.
So it's an interesting take on it. There's lots of sides to it.
I think there's like positives and negatives to it too, because the positives are that if you have a dating roster, you're less likely to be that like clingy person.
Yeah.
That like you're not going to be the one who's like texting them constantly, because if you're this sounds bad, but if you're entertaining multiple people and trying to focus on multiple, then you won't be like so attached to one of them. But the other thing is if you have like 3 different options that you're like considering, the newest one will always be like the most exciting. It's just how it goes. And so the person that you may have gone on multiple dates with that may be the best fit for you, you may be kind of like waste time with some of these new people when you could be focusing on them.
So that's why if you have too many people,
it can make you question which one is right for you.
You can't manage that.
It makes it a little bit harder, but you also won't be the clingy one. And so if you're trying to get into something more serious, I would say you should minimize your roster, or else you're going to get real confused.
So
you got to balance it. You got to keep it balanced.
Diversify it too. That way, you have some different personalities in there.
Keep it under the salary cap.
You can figure out what you want.
For dating, you're like, well, you're too expensive.
Yeah, I can't afford the luxury tax. So
I guess we should always mention, if there's ever something we cover in our podcast that you would love a link to the article, that way you can always read the study. You are more than welcome to text at 877-2-RADIO-U. That way you can stop hearing our approach to the study and actually read it.
I just think a good way to continue to just reach so many people in our audience is to discuss dating all the time, but use sports analogies for it.
Oh, yeah.
Like I pulled this guy off of waivers, and so we're going out now. I think there's a lot of ways we can go with that.
It works.
We also talked about more dating, but this time for your grandparents.
Oh,
how your mammy or papa might be on TV this fall.
Oh, there's
getting their heart broken.
This is the downfall to the writer's strike that you didn't realize. A lot of networks will have no scripted television, so it means a real big increase in reality shows, including a old people Bachelor show,
which makes it difficult to be able to keep up with them all. Yeah. Normally there's only a few reality shows, and so it's not too much of your time taken up.
See, I just think it's always really, because this one features, is it over 60 for the Bachelor people? I have a hard time when I see like clips of older people losing it or getting arrested, because it's just really sad. It feels like, why are, like you have to go pick your grandma up. And so what if she's on a bad date and you got to go pick your grandmother up? Like, they shouldn't be dating.
Be proud for my grandmother for getting out there.
Sure.
I can't wait for the Golden Bachelor.
It's like my grandma always had friends, and you're like, you knew they were your boyfriend.
Like, what I'm excited to see too is they announced the regular Bachelor is always some like 6'5", stud, like he's like a former NFL football player, whatever it is. I can't wait to see who the Bachelor is because it's going to be the Golden Bachelor. It's going to be someone who's like 65 years old that's just a stud, and I don't know what that looks like.
It's not a
but
stud.
I'm excited.
He'll be a fox.
He will be.
He will be a fox.
He'll be like a silver fox.
I can't wait to hear because conversations of flirting and stuff. And the questions are going to be completely different than like the regular Bachelor questions are always like, do you want kids? Do you want this? Whatever. The questions are going to be wild. I cannot wait. And the other thing about older people is they just don't have filters. And so the older you get, the less filter you have. I can't wait to hear what they have to say about each other.
They say the older you get, it's almost like you turn back to when you were like a toddler. Like you just don't care.
You don't care.
You just say whatever.
Yeah, I've already hit that point. So.
You just don't care.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the Golden Bachelor.
So we'll talk more about other shows to expect with the writer's strike and what you'll actually get this fall.
I'll ask you guys one more question on grandparents. What are your grandparents, not their real names, but what do you guys call your grandparents?
I called my grandfather was Pop-Pop and my grandmother was Nanny.
Nanny.
Which people thought she was my nanny. I was like, no, she's my grandmother. She was my grandmother.
I called mine, I had Grandma. I had Grandma. I had
2 grandmas.
No, I have more.
Multiple grandmas.
I had Grandma, I had Nana. And then I had Grandpa. I had Grandpa.
Grandpa.
I had Grandpa, and I had Ray.
Oh, what happened to Ray that he only got his name?
He just got Ray. It's just he was the last one, the line. And so I'd already had 3 grandfathers before that, so then it was just Ray made it easier.
Triple grandpa.
Yeah, triple grandpa, like quadruple. Quadruple grandpa.
Yeah, that's a lot to keep track of.
A lot of grandpas, and then Nana, Grandma. No, Nana, Grandma.
You had way more grandparents.
Yeah.
I know. It was always a new one. It was awesome.
No, I'm not going to say.
Never mind.
Go ahead. What do you have to say about my grandparents, Hudson? And now I have Grandma and Nana are the 2 that are left.
I have Papa and Grandma.
You so would.
And then Granddad and Grandmom, who's no longer with us.
Oh, Grandmom.
Yeah. But that was very Canadian.
Grandmom?
Grandmom.
I like Papa.
Yeah.
Is that what you called him?
Papa.
No, because
Papa.
you're thinking like Big Papa. No.
Big Papa. You ever call him? Yeah, you did.
I didn't call him Big Papa.
I would have.
I know.
Well, what would you guys want your grandparent? Like,
what's your grandparent name?
Yes.
Yes.
We'll save that for another topic.
Yes.
Make sure you text us and say hi at 8772 Radio U. We do hope you enjoy this podcast.
It is the Riot.
Guys.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The worst of the Riot. Radio U.
Okay. Have you guys ever heard the terms rotational dating or like dating roster?
Oh, roster?
Yeah.
Building a roster, yeah.
Yeah. Is that where you're juggling more people?
Yeah, where you've got a few options that you can cycle through, rotate through until you potentially settle on one. Well, I've got advice right here so that you, if you're a woman, can build a dating roster. Just want to be clear. For men, you can't have a dating roster.
Not allowed?
And if you do, you can't acknowledge it because that's wrong.
It makes you a bad person.
Yeah,
But a woman can.
This is for women only.
Maybe if you still stick with calling it rotational dating, it doesn't sound as bad.
I like
as
building a roster. I think that's a more known term, too.
See,
People say that all the
saying
time.
That sounds awful.
People say that all the time. They're like, how's your roster? And you're like, well, there's not a lot of winners here. I'm not going to lie to you.
I love
Not
that.
any heavy hitters.
This is all about, this literally is the thing I'm reading is all about advice for women to build a dating roster, even though roster is such a sports term more often, you know? It's just like such a dude thing, but we're bringing it into for the ladies.
We can't even have sports? Is that what you're
You can
leaning
have
towards?
sports?
Listen,
No,
you guys can't have everything. You've got a roster. You want sports too now? We got to have something.
Well, I assume this means when you're still very early on
Yes.
dating someone and you haven't established the rules that you're exclusive.
Yes. So here's the rules for establishing a dating roster. Once again, for women only. 1, think about what you're looking for. You need to have a specific idea in mind. I've got an expert here who says most people struggle with knowing what they want out of dating, which causes them to settle for situations that they aren't the right fit for. So that's good advice, right?
Sure.
You think about what you actually want. You want something long term. What are you looking for? You just want somebody to hang out with for the summer. You gotta make up your mind. Number 2, diversify your hangout spots so you don't get caught.
So you're not going to the same place for the same people?
Yeah, no, but it's so that you can have different opportunities to meet different people out and about. Like, for example, go to the gym instead of going on a hot girl walk. That's where girls like to meet men, right? The gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
Never worked for me. Oddly enough.
Because again, they feel you have a roster.
Yeah.
They say like buy groceries in the actual store instead of having them delivered.
Good advice.
So go back to going out and trying to do more in person to see if you meet people at different places.
All right, here's another good one. Use dates as research. Basically, after you go out on your date, you have to evaluate. You think, did you like how they spoke to you? Did you feel safe? Did you feel okay being yourself? Those kinds of things. You're kind of doing, like, you got to actually analyze and do a little report on the date to figure out like how you felt about it.
So this all seems normal. Are you just saying though,
normal.
do this with more guys more often?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but for women only.
But for women only,
Guys
you guys
can't date
have
more
it.
women
Yes,
more
of course.
often. That's not allowed.
Do I get an app to juggle everything?
Ooh. We'll build you a lineup. That way you can switch them out.
A little fantasy, fantasy league. Yeah. This is a good one.
I'm sure there's a Google extension.
Honor the flow, but keep tabs on your needs and feelings. That goes back to the last one. Just kind of go with the flow, but I also think it's important to hear the last one is remember that you're the prize.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah, that is good advice.
And the second you like someone and you decide you want to be exclusive, the roster has to go.
It has to shrink down to 1.
And then get rid of your old numbers. No, just kidding.
Now you keep those just in case. You keep those.
You put them on the bench.
Yes, exactly. You bench those
them.
players.
Uh-huh.
And then when you're ready, if you had to put it back in, you always can.
Call them back
Call them
in.
back up to the
Exactly.
big leagues.
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.
Last night was a huge night in the NBA. It was a very eventful day, and only in part because it was the first game of the Western Conference Finals where the Denver Nuggets beat the Los Angeles Lakers. That's like at most the third biggest story of the day.
Okay.
The top story in the NBA yesterday is it was the draft lottery.
Oh.
And
I sounded like I knew what
yeah.
Like, tell me
You were
more.
sounded like you knew I was just going to continue on. The draft lottery is where all the teams that missed the playoffs get their chance to, they each, depending on how bad you were, you have a different percentage chance of getting the top pick in the draft.
So you get a
the NBA
pick,
draft.
and then you can pick which player you want?
Yeah,
And
which
then
of the new rookies.
Do you trade anybody else, or is it just, hey, I'll take this guy, and that's it?
Well, I mean, just regular roster turnover, contract expiring, trade. I mean, it all happens, but you don't have to trade anybody to draft.
Are there scratchers? No, just teasing.
Precisely.
The team that got the number 1 pick is the San Antonio Spurs, and the reason it's important is because that means they get, and you've seen this guy before, Victor Wembanyama.
Ooh.
He's 7'5" at least.
Oh my God, he's that tall?
That tall, but he moves like a dream.
Really? Because sometimes we all had in our class the really tall guy who they put on the team. It
Real
didn't
awkward, like-
mean that they were actually that
In my
good
class, that
when-
was me.
You
Because I was the only one in the class.
You're the only one. Because, you can be. It's just not very common to actually be as graceful when you're that tall.
Yeah, he is that tall, like Yao Ming size. If you remember him, he was like one of the bigger guys, but he was big and lumbering.
Wow, he's 7'2" at 19 years old.
Yeah, and he also can handle. But usually, if you're that tall, you're not a big ball handler. You're not a great shooter. He's not an amazing shooter, but he's way better than anybody else at that size. So he is like the can't miss prospect, the biggest. Not in terms of stature, but just the biggest prospect probably since LeBron, right?
Since LeBron, I would say.
Now, obviously, that height there, his career could certainly be derailed by injuries. That's always a concern with somebody of that height. But outside of that, he is just, if you get him and he stays healthy, your team's probably going to be good for the next, as long as he'll stay with you. So he's going to San Antonio.
Oh, is that good? Would we want to move to San Antonio, or would we have wanted someone else?
He's from France. And you might, I don't know if you remember Tony Parker.
Yeah.
He is also from France, and he was on the Spurs for his whole career.
Sure.
So actually, the Spurs were considered a big destination for him.
That's
so
cool.
the whole country of basketball fans super excited because they're already Spurs fans anyways.
Cool. Well, good for him.
Yeah,
7-2.
some positive news.
It is so weird because when you see him, like I just pulled up images of him, when he's next to other players, normally those players are giant, but they look so small compared to him.
Yeah, he is massive. So, I mean, are you upset about him going to Santa? Some fans are saying that the lottery was rigged.
Really? I don't think it's rigged.
No.
Because there's no way they would send him to the Spurs because the Spurs are terrible. Like, of the teams at the top, they probably have the worst roster. They don't have one player on their team that is worth anything. So
And
even with him joining the team, if he does turn out to be a superstar, I mean, they still won't make the playoffs.
they're going to have a long... Well, they do have Greg Popovich, who's supposedly a great coach. Right? Not supposedly. He was a great coach for a long time, but he's got a terrible roster now, so it hasn't been as good.
I think if it was rigged, it would have been the Portland Trailblazers.
You think?
Because then it would have been Dame. It would have been a team that would automatically be way better.
Yeah.
Because they already have a superstar.
And Portland, big media market.
They're, yep. Huge.
No, but I mean, there was a lot of... He could have gone to Houston, Detroit. All probably would have been... To me, would have felt more like, oh, if it was rigged, it would have been one of those. It's not rigged. It's just not rigged. Talking of coaching, Doc Rivers, the coach of the 76ers, who just got eliminated, fired.
Oh.
Boom.
He's out.
Bing, bang, boom.
Bing,
Bing,
bang,
bang,
boom.
boom.
Yeah, even though he is also considered a great coach, but he has
Not great enough.
struggled with a pretty solid team in Philadelphia. And the other headline of the day, John Morant issued a statement after his gun.
Well, we don't want to
Instagram
hear
live.
what he has to
For
say.
his
You don't wanna
gun,
hear it?
gun waving Instagram live thing that he likes to do.
He says, I know I've disappointed a lot of people who have supported me. This is a journey, and I recognize there's more work to do.
He did not say it's a journey.
My words may
Long
not
journey,
mean... No,
Nikki.
this is his people saying this probably. My words may not mean much right now. See, he's nipping what your concerns in the bud. His words may not mean much right now to people like Nikki, but I take full accountability for my actions. He's taking accountability, and he's committed to continuing to work on himself.
Well, maybe next time he'll think before he decides to flash a gun on video.
Yeah.
Again.
It's crazy. He's got to be like the first NBA player to be suspended for being stupid.
Yeah.
For not even first NBA player to be suspended for something so silly.
He's
Well,
so
it's-
dumb. That's why he's getting
offenses,
suspended.
so
Yeah.
that's why. So, well, yeah, you're right. Yesterday was a big basketball
It was
day.
a
I love the
huge
multiple
day.
non-criminal offenses. There's nothing quite like that. Surprised he's not in jail yet. Jeez, you take a picture with a gun and they're done with you.
He's in basketball jail.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is in basketball jail. You're right.
This is The Riot. Radio U.
We all know that the writer's strike is going on right now. It continues on for the writers for TV and movies, and no end in sight as far as I know, which is causing obviously a lot of disruptions. There are already live shows or like the late night shows, for example, where they've had to put stuff on pause because they don't have writers and the rest of the staff doesn't feel it's right usually to work without the writers, whatever. Okay, but now we're starting to see like fall TV lineups also being affected by this.
Because they'd be normally filming it right about now.
Yeah. So here's an example. ABC has put out their fall lineup. They have virtually no scripted shows besides Abbott Elementary, which will be reruns until at least the winter, because the even though it's a hit show, the writers are on strike. There's nobody to write the show, so
Well,
it's on pause.
I think for a lot of comedy shows, a lot of the people that are involved in writing are also the stars who act in
Sure.
it. So some of those
So
really
it's not like
don't
they're
work.
going to step across.
They're
you
not
know,
going to.
Yeah. Or use fill-in writers because then the actors that write aren't going to act out the fill-in writers material. Okay. So here's what we've got coming to ABC's TV lineup this fall: America's Funniest Home Videos.
Boom.
No. Is that not? I mean, it still has scripts, but I mean, technically not enough.
Yeah, I guess not. American Idol,
Okay.
The Bachelor,
Those are scripted.
Yeah.
Bachelor in Paradise.
Ah.
But maybe it's just
Hey.
easier to get the writers that can fill in on that.
Listen, that's not the regular that's the Golden Bachelor.
Oh, it is?
We're talking about somebody heading into their sunset years of life.
Yeah, I was going to get
Gets
to
a
that.
chance at
That
the
was-
Bachelor.
That was the piece de resistance.
They're doing an
that I was
old
heading
people
toward.
Bachelor?
Oh yeah, they are.
It is. It's going to be people on the other side of 60, a man on the other side of 60, and women on the other side of 60.
And all the drama drama you can imagine.
Looking for love.
That's gonna be so gross to see like your grandparents' age acting that way.
Yeah, listen, it's going to be, think about like how all the girls fight between the ages of like 20 to 27
Yeah.
on The Bachelor. Now on The Golden Bachelor, they're going to be doing the exact same thing.
Yuck.
But you know what?
He doesn't want anybody
what's
over 60 to be in love.
What's
No.
wild is the heartbreak is going to be way worse because you look at like a 24-year-old and these girls are all like beautiful. When they have heartbreak, you're like, you'll be fine. But when it's like your 65-year-old grandmother heartbroken, oh, it's going to be a whole new kind of effect
I don't think they shouldn't have love. I just think that they're going to be taken advantage of. You know,
I think it's
they're
gonna
too
be
old
sad.
for that. It's like when your grandparents fall for, a gift card scheme. Like it's sad to
Like
see.
imagine watching your grandma not get a rose. Like how sad that. Like when it's gonna be so hard to hate. Like how are you even gonna hate that? Like when you like pick your favorites on The Bachelor, usually like when you're like one of your enemies doesn't get a rose, you're like, oh whatever. You'll go out in the real world and you'll get millions of followers and you'll do your little happy life.
Yeah.
For these old women, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh.
So now
I feel
wait.
so bad.
For the older Bachelor show that's
Yeah.
coming this fall, is the Bachelor himself like old also? Or
No,
is
he's
he-
22.
He's 22.
No, I'm just joking. It'd be awesome if he was, though. I should volunteer. I'll go on The Golden Bachelor.
You know what? I feel like out of everything we have this fall, that's probably going to do the best. So
Yeah.
I can see that.
I cannot wait for the Golden Bachelor. Even I want to watch this.
it's
You're
gonna
gonna
be
watch,
good.
right?
Of course I'm gonna watch.
Yeah, that's gonna be good. I mean, there's other unscripted stuff on the, Shark Tank is back, Celebrity Jeopardy, Celebrity Wheel of Fortune, but yeah, the Golden Bachelor was the one that obviously the highlight of ABC's fall TV schedule.
Well, it's a good thing we don't watch a lot of TV anyway, so
We don't, but a lot of people do. I looked it up.
not much to miss.
Shark Tank. How many people you think watch Shark Tank the first time it airs each episode?
First time it airs like live,
Yeah.
maybe 5 million.
Oh, okay. You're pretty close. Yeah, it's like 4 million.
4
I
million?
just think even 4 million sounds huge. You don't think that people watch, at least people like our age don't think that other people are watching ABC or
They are.
NBC or whatever, but yeah, they totally are. And not just not just catch up either. They're watching it live when it happens.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's your
so-
choices.
Golden Bachelor.
It is. That's all we got.
Coming this fall.
Hudson, Nikki, The Riot on Radio U.
You guys
Please
have to
tell
see
me
this
you-
video.
Please tell me you did just watch it.
I'm watching the video
Hey, your
right
audio's
now.
on, hot dog.
This guy.
There you go.
Imagine you're in the streets of Toronto and you get attacked not by a snake, but by a man with a snake.
Why does he have the snake?
It's his pet.
And he's basically just wailing on this guy
He
in the middle
is.
of the street, holding the snake and hitting him with it.
He is whipping this guy with a python. And the police arrived on the scene. The guy's been arrested. Questionable charges. They say assault with a weapon. Is a python a weapon?
Did you see at the end? I think he throws his pet snake and then puts his hands up because the cops pull up. And it's like, where's the snake go?
That's what I was
happened?
wondering. Where does the snake go?
There's no. You don't think the snake survived the incident, do you?
I mean, that's not fair if the snake dies from this guy hitting him with it.
Yeah, no, that snake did not know what he was getting into at this
poor
place.
snake.
Oh, the snake the snake's dead.
You think so?
Yeah, you don't think it made it?
I can see it not moving.
You know-
Unless he's a good snake and he stays.
Oh, he's probably stunned if he did survive.
He's not
Sheesh.
trained, Isaiah. He
Well,
doesn't
you said you
stay.
said pet snake.
Yeah.
If I have a pet snake, you'd think you'd be a little trained. Jim won't even stay. What am I talking about?
How would you
Pet
go?
snake
How would
isn't
you go
saying.
about training a snake?
I don't know. However, snake people train snakes.
I don't think they can train them to just stay still.
A
Like a
snake
snakester.
charmer.
Yeah, a snakester.
A what?
A snakester.
A snakester.
Okay.
That's what they call them if
We'll
you got
just-
a pet snake.
We'll just let you have that. So this guy then hit and attacked this person on the street.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's in trouble, and they're including a lot of animal cruelty charges in this.
Oh, good news.
Yeah?
According to Global News, police said the
shot.
python was alive at the time. Oh, darn it. But died later.
Oh, no!
Oh, it didn't make it.
That's awful. So
Nice
they-
work. Great reporting.
Yeah.
The police received reports of someone on the street threatening people with a python. This was close to midnight.
That's crazy. So it wasn't just like he had his python, this other guy
No.
started giving him the business, and so they
Well,
get into it.
You don't just carry your pet python around unless
Yes,
you're looking
you
for
do.
a fight.
Yes,
if you're looking
you
for a
do.
fight,
I've
you do.
seen people at 7-Eleven just walking in with snakes like it's no big thing.
And those same people are getting in fights later on.
They
with
want
their python.
attention. So he's being charged with assault with a weapon because the python swinging it counts as a weapon, and charged with causing unnecessary pain or suffering to an animal.
Yeah, I'll say.
It is awful now that we know that he died. Not the people, but the snake.
Yeah.
But if you'd like to watch the video, it's really something.
It is
See,
wild.
We'll send you the link if you text us.
I would have been more intimidated by the guy if he was like using his pythons, like my python's gonna bite you, rather than just smacking me with it. If he had been like putting it in my face, like he will bite you, that would have scared me more than him being like swinging it like a lasso. Like that was less intimidating.
I think he started doing that at first, and then everybody was getting mad at him, and so then he attacked a guy and then used the snake as what he attacked him with.
Ouch. I don't want to. I mean, I'm fine with snakes generally, but I don't want anybody threatening me with a snake in any way.
Or hitting you with one.
However they go about it, whether it's biting or swinging it like a whip.
Oh, it is sad, though, now that the snake didn't make
Yeah,
it.
that's
Very
true.
sad.
That snake did not sign up for that. That is unfortunate.
He's like, where are we going? Are we going for a walk?
Yeah, we're heading out in the
outside
town.
time.
Wait, why are you swinging me?
Yeah, this is what we normally do, Dad. What's going on here?
Come on, Dad, put me down.
The Riot with Hudson and Nikki on Radio U.
You need some therapy after our last story about the snake. I've got some alternative here, some good animal news, and that is at the University of Edinburgh in Scotland, they are trying something new. They are trying what they're calling Pause on Campus.
Yeah.
It's going to be therapy sessions for students suffering from stress and anxiety and whatever, and they're going to have dogs involved.
Oh, in the classes and stuff?
Yeah, this is like somewhere you could go if maybe you're struggling with stuff. You're going to be able to go and visit these dogs, and I guess there's also like clinical psychologists are involved and whatever, but just a different kind of take on therapy.
Yeah.
So that hopefully college doesn't wear too much on you.
Okay, well, tell me if this is a wrong statement or wrong feeling.
Yes.
If you went to school.
If you have to say that for.
Well,
No, go ahead.
Does anybody else feel this way? Like, do you feel like if you were at school and they offered therapy dogs, which is fantastic, and you were really, truly helped by your therapy dogs,
Yeah.
but then you went home and your own dog does not help you at all? Like they stress you out,
Yeah.
or it's not the same. Like, is a stranger's dog the only thing that can help therapy-wise?
I think that could be. I think that's a possibility because it's, especially when you're at college, it makes a lot of sense to have a dog that you can go visit and not have to actually care for.
Yeah, the caring for seems to probably change the stress level from your own pets.
Yeah, so I think it makes and like even think about it. Maybe you really miss your own dog if you're away from home. You're at the University of Edinburgh. You miss the dog back at home.
Yeah.
And whatever other Glasgow in Scotland. And so you like this is another way for you to get your dog fixed.
Yeah, make you
and
feel
ease
better.
the stress and anxiety. I think it's a great idea.
Because I brought my dog Cinnamon in a few times, and then I realized I don't want to anymore because that stressed me out. It wasn't fun.
I've got 2 comments on this.
Okay.
One negative, one positive.
Okay.
What are you
Let's
The
hear
first
it.
one is I'm just sick and tired of the Scottish. Acting as if this is their idea.
Like, this is new?
Like this is new. Like at my college, we always had dogs in for finals week. That was just something that was always there. They had like the little therapy dogs, and obviously tons of people are there. You see dogs on campus all the time because tons of people have their little therapy help dogs
Yeah.
or whatever in the dorms. And we had a campus dog named Grady. Kind of an ugly dog, but he was always around as like the campus therapy dog as well. My second comment is if the Scottish went out like this is a new thing, I'd be more than happy to lend a dog like no other. Because if Jim showed up to this, I mean, he'd be memorable. He would probably take all the stresses away from all your classes because the stresses that he would put on you would overcome those.
And how awesome would it be if he did that during the day while you were at work, someone came and picked him up and dropped him off, and you got paid for it?
I've been saying
Oh,
that he
yeah.
needs a job, and this is the perfect job for him. I can send him away. Actually, I could fly him away. He could live there for
Aw.
portions of the year. He could come back. He would have the time of his life. We'd be making bank. He needs a job.
Do you think he'd come back with an accent, like for his bark?
Oh, wouldn't that be incredible? A little Scottish accent.
That would be amazing.
It'd be amazing.
Yeah, well, I think it's a great idea combining the two because dogs can be very helpful, especially when they're not your dog.
Oh yeah, but forget like just school, even
Yeah.
work. Dogs can be very helpful.
All right, who's getting the Radio Youth Therapy dog?
If Jim gets paid, He'll be in
He's
tomorrow. 8 hours. Put him on the timesheet.
He peed last time he was here. He has to be trained better.
Well, we can get past that. He can do it.
We can
I'm
have
sure he can do it.
an outdoor area.
You know what? There's not. Well, I work here and I have a lot of issues too. You know, what is one issue with Jim? I mean, he pees inside. I don't do my work. We both can work here.
Wasn't that a great Riot clip? While you're here, you should watch more of our videos and subscribe so you don't miss what we do next.